Welcome to Wisdom's Peaceful Harmony. I'm Dr. Lynette Wiest, and in this video, I'm going to talk about listening. I'm going to talk about why it's important to be a good listener and how to be a good listener. And so listening is really important because it is half of the exchange in communication. It's as important as the message that's being sent. For example, if you send a letter through the mail and the other person does not receive it, well, there's no point in sending it. So it's really important to be a good listener. Now, communication is important because communication has a strong impact on our relationships. Communication helps us build our relationships, or communication can destroy relationships. So realize that communication is not for the purpose of manipulating or controlling people. As a good listener, it is so important to use your listening time to learn the message of the speaker. If you have a biased perspective about what they are talking about, which we often do, then be honest with yourself about this. Realize that in order to be a good listener, you need to be accepting of what the other person is trying to tell you about themselves. You don't have to agree, but you do need to accept that they have their position and they want to tell you about it. Otherwise, your judgment will prevent you from openly listening and openly being able to understand the other person. Now, one way that you can decrease your bias as you're listening is to pretend you're a stranger and think about that you're trying to understand what the person is expressing without really knowing much about what they're trying to say. Make yourself curious to know what this person wants to tell you, and make yourself curious about what they are thinking and what they are feeling. While you're listening, let go of your position on the issue. Pretend that you don't have a position on the issue, because as the listener, this is not the time to judge or correct the message that they're sending. It's not the time to interject your own thoughts, and it is not the time to interject your position. You want to be at peace, be free of your position. Your position's not going to go anywhere or leave you, so you can be free of your position, and you can really open up to learning and understanding the other person. Be careful. Don't let your mind be so trapped in your position that you can't be open to learning and understanding where the other person is coming from. Literally, where are they coming from? Where is their mind standing? Where are they seeing things from? From what paradigm or what context or what point of view? Where are they? Because that is a starting point to really being able to understand. What do they see from there? No one has the exact same experience or perspective. So you want to find out, what do they want to share with you about being in their shoes from their perspective? This is the time to assert your peace into the situation. And I will be doing a series about peace, about how to have peace despite what is going on around you. So you can look for that. If you're subscribed, you'll get notifications about that. Plug your headphones into the other person's message, and then you can listen with your ears and your heart. Plug yourself in. Listen. This painting really makes somebody wonder, what is happening with this man? Well, the artist tells me that it is about very hard days facing this old man and making lines of pain on his face. And the artist grew up in Iraq. You want to listen with your ears and your heart. There's so much to learn from listening to other people's experiences. There's so much to learn from listening to every everyone's personal experience, what's personally going on inside of them. And so that's what listening is about. It brings us together. It's not supposed to push us apart from each other. So what does it mean to be a good listener? What does it mean to embrace someone's communication? You want to use love to embrace the other person's desire to communicate with you. Now, this means that you listen to what they say, knowing it's a part of who they are, even if you disagree. Even if you totally disagree with the content of their message, you want to give value. That's called validation. You want to give value to the fact that they are investing time and energy to share their message with you about their thoughts and about their feelings and about their experience. To validate means to give value to the fact that they are sharing with you. Now, research has shown that invalidation is a factor in predicting relationship problems. So what does it mean to validate someone's communication with you? Well, you're going to give value to what their message is and give value to the fact that it is their point of view. It is valuable because it teaches you about them. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to be them. You don't have to think like them. It's about listening. It's just about receiving. Your agreement with their message is one way that you can validate, but you can disagree and still validate. You want to give attention to their message. You want to show respect in the communication. Acknowledge their message and acknowledge that this is what they think and what they feel. Let them know that you're hearing them. Listening without arguing is really important. Arguing invalidates. Now, later you can share your position, but not while you're listening. Active listening is a kind of listening. Active listening is active. It's something you do, and it helps provide a greater validation for the person's message. Active listening means you go beyond simply hearing the message. And active listening involves the following. You get ready to listen by looking at the other person. Make your watching and your listening obvious to the other person. Listen for their ideas, listen for their feelings, listen for their experience. Pay attention to their message. Take their viewpoint into consideration, even if you disagree. Be considerate of their viewpoint. Take it into consideration. And that's possibly going to prompt you to ask questions about it. And you can ask questions. That's a form of active listening. Don't ask questions that are meant to sort of designed to show them they're wrong. Ask questions that help you learn. Don't interrupt and don't finish the other person's sentences. Now, here's an example of active listening that creates validation. So the speaker says, I wish that you spent time with me more often. I feel hurt that our evenings tend to be apart. The listener says, you feel hurt when I don't spend more time with you in the evening. I guess I knew that. However, I didn't give it enough attention before. Thank you for sharing this with me. Thank you for telling me. Now, invalidation would say, you shouldn't feel hurt. Don't take it personally. You hear the difference? Now, reflective listening is a form of active listening. It's a specific form. Reflective listening is an important skill when there's conflict or a problem to solve or indirect communication. And reflective listening is a whole topic. So I'm going to do a separate video about reflective listening. And so look for that in the near future. And be sure to, if you subscribe, then you'll get a notification about it. Now, barriers to listening and barriers to validation include not having enough time to listen or feeling pressured about time, not valuing the other person's feelings or their thoughts, being under the influence of drugs or alcohol that can impact your ability to really listen, a lack of trust, can be a problem. And then a negative self-image of the listener. Because if you don't value yourself, then you're going to be less apt to give value to what the other person's message is about who they are. Now, you can create intentional, effective listening patterns with the other person if you and they want to. You ask them, what do they want to let you, what do they want you to do to let them better understand that you are listening? You want to ask them what you can do to let them know you're listening, that you're wanting to understand their message. Ask them, how do you know you're being heard by me? What do I need to do? Discuss what it's like for them when they think that you're not listening. Discuss what they do when they don't feel listened to or understood. This information can be really helpful to both of you for identifying future discussions where you need to be listening more. Keep in mind, you are connected, so create the connections that you desire. Connect my headphones into your heart. I can feel the flow of your love. I can hear the beat of your blood. Let us listen together as love's harmony manifests in our lives. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe if you'd like to see future videos and click on the playlist to see videos that were referenced. Welcome.